Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Still at the lake, got the cottage behind me. Beautiful little place. Lake is in front of me. There we go. There we go. Today's video, why bed rest is not a great idea. So I'll get to that in a second. I'll let you listen to some birds as I take a couple of nice slow breaths. Yeah. Peace. Calm. All right, so why bed rest is not a great idea. Now, first and foremost, for anybody who is on bed rest, no shame, no blame, no judgment. I totally understand how it can happen. And during some of my more extreme flares, I got into bed. One of the things that I benefited by was getting out of bed when I could. Didn't mean that I got out of bed when I was pain-free. It meant I got out of bed when I was capable of doing it. So a lot of people end up in bed rest due to fatigue or pain. Sometimes anxiety, sometimes depression. And generally, bed rest means I am avoiding virtually everything. And as I've talked about a number of times, avoiding only does one thing exceptionally well. Teaches the brain that all the things that you're avoiding are dangerous. They're the problem. So let's avoid them. But I've never really met somebody who stayed in bed long enough to get completely recovered, jumped out of bed, and was perfectly fine moving forward. Because if you've done that for any length of time, you realize that there's a great amount of fear in getting out. And if perceived danger is what is creating the symptoms in the first place, the longer you avoid all movement because you don't want to trigger the pain, the more the brain's going to react when you eventually do get out of bed. But I will tell you, I've got multiple people that have been through my group coaching that were on bed rest for multiple years, where the most times that they got out of bed was bathroom and doctor's appointments. They ate in bed. They did everything in bed. And they basically didn't get better until they started to challenge themselves to get out of bed and start doing more and more, and gradually increasing their capacity to do more. So I don't think I've met anybody who stayed in bed long enough to feel great and then they got out of bed and poof, they were better, right? In order to get better, we need to begin living our life with the symptoms or pains. And that is our biggest opportunity to say to the brain, hey, look at me doing all this stuff, and I'm still okay. I am not damaging myself. I am not harming myself. I'm actually okay. See, I'm out of bed. So staying in bed is absolutely not the greatest strategy or idea, because all it does is convey to the brain very clearly everything is dangerous. So get out of bed. Do what you can. Teach yourself that you're okay. And as I've been talking a lot about lately, soften the edges. Expect that you can do better than you think getting out of the bed. Expect it to go reasonably well. It's not going to go perfect, but expect to be okay. Get up, do the thing, even if that's getting up and making yourself lunch or sitting on the couch for a while. That's a win compared to laying in bed. And gradually increase your capacity by doing more. We don't increase our capacity and recover by staying in bed. Again, zero judgment. This is not the blame and shame game. It is purely an encouragement to do more, because with that foundational knowledge of what creates symptoms and that it applies to you, you can know, even if you hurt, even if symptoms flare, you're not doing harm. You're not causing damage. So for many of us, we hurt laying in bed. So you may as well get up and start to engage in life more. So short video today, not really too deep, but for those people who are contemplating getting in bed and staying there till you're better, I don't see that working too often, if at all. I can't remember somebody who said that's what they did. And if you're in bed, I'm going to really encourage you to start, while in bed, imagining what's life going to be like out of bed. What are the things I would like to do? How can I engage in more things? And how can I start getting out of bed more? I'm not saying get out of bed and spend the only time in there is when you sleep. Look, if you're struggling really bad and the symptoms are way high and the bed is where you get comfortable, by all means, be kind to yourself, compassionate to yourself. And if symptoms are really high and you got to go lay down, no problem. But do your best not to stay down for days or weeks or months or years, because that avoidance is really tricky, and it conveys very strongly that you're not okay. And by getting up consistently, even with symptoms or pain, that conveys very convincingly that I'm actually better than I thought. And brain, we're not in such big trouble. Look, I'm getting out. I'm doing X, Y, and Z. Do more. Expect it to go well. Not perfect. You're not going to jump out of bed for the first time in 2 weeks or 2 years and have the brain go, oh, that looks kind of cool. I guess they're okay. No, symptoms may flare. They likely will. But be okay with that because you kind of expect it. And not from a fear perspective. You're not expecting to be afraid and therefore have symptoms. But just say, hey, look, it makes sense. If you start doing more and symptoms go up, that's not proof you're damaging anything. It's proof your brain is raising the alarm saying, hey, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Does that make sense? So, enjoy the birds. I'm going to probably sit out here on the dock for a while, just enjoying the peace. And as always, love you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.